Yes.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's us again.
What up, y'all?
Hey.
Hi.
So last week, hopefully you enjoyed our video that we did, just getting to know the team. Tonight's video is going to be on protection, and if we have time, on how we present ourselves on an investigation. We got Jody with us. She was not able to attend last week, so we're going to do a quick get to know Jody on our team. Jody is our case manager, and she has been with us. She actually joined the team in March, so she's one of our newest team members. And a couple of the questions we asked Jody are ones that people have asked us a lot. So the biggest question is, what got you into the paranormal?
I guess I've had an interest in it for a long, long time. I had some experiences as a child that made me really interested in the paranormal. And as these shows started coming out, I was like, I really think I would like to do something like that. So I went on an investigation with another team and ended up joining that team like 6-7 months later. And that's how I actually met Lydia, is because she needed someone to fill in, like I think it was the following year. She needed someone to help out, and they, they suggested me. So I think I helped out a couple of times before I actually joined the team.
Yes, you were a lifesaver on those.
My memory was everybody was like, "You're gonna love Jody. She's amazing. She's amazing." And then I met you like 5 or 6 times, and I was like, "Dude, this girl is amazing." And then they were like, "That's Jody," and I was like, "Enough said."
And you lost the best picture ever you would ever get.
No.
You found it?
I found it.
Sweet.
I will figure out how to give that to you.
Yes,
Awesome.
send it to us so we can put it up too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will. It's not your ordinary orb. It's a thing. Like,
Theme.
I found it.
Okay.
It was at Vincent Grist Mill. We were upstairs in the mill. She was sitting on...
No, this one that I'm talking about was in that first little cabin we went in. And Lydia and I were doing like pendulum readings, and you were snapping pictures. And you got a great big orb right beside me. Like
I
on
remember
the right side of me.
you with an orb. Maybe I was mistaken on the location, but I will send it to you, and we will put it up on YouTube and Facebook. So for sure.
So you kind of answered how you started with us.
Mm-hmm.
The other question is, have you had an experience while doing this that has scared you? Because a lot of people ask, what's the scariest thing you've ever had happen to you?
Nothing actually scares me. I think that I protect myself so well that I'm not scared. I go out there. I've had something grab my ankle out of salt air and grab it, like my bad ankle that I had a break in, and just hold on to it so the pain was really bad. And I just said, that is enough. Let go now. And they stopped. It doesn't scare me. I've had a spirit poke me in the arm, and I've seen an apparition of a man come up behind someone as they were taking a picture behind them because they could feel something. And when they took the picture, I could see him standing there smiling at me. And after that, I said, I just saw him. And he came over and poked me in the arm after. And then in that same location, there was several little girls, and one of the little girls was scared to death of two of the male spirits that are there. And I could feel them coming up on me, and the little girls ran. And I said, okay, that's enough. These little girls just want to have fun. They're enjoying, being able to play with this dishware and have little tea parties and whatever. You need to leave them alone. I have had enough of this bullying, and I want you to leave them alone. And so they disappeared, and I went out in the other room and sat down, and one of the little girls came and climbed up on my lap. And it was like as if someone sat a block of ice on my lap. It was so cool.
I gotta say that I appreciate you saying that you don't appreciate bullying. You're not gonna take it, because I was bullied a lot, and I don't like when I get attachments and picked on and messed with, because I was always messed with as a kid. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate you seeing that in the afterlife, that's unfortunately still a thing, but you were able to latch onto that and tell them to knock it off. So
Right.
good
No,
for you.
it's just, it made me so angry because there are these little girls that passed away at, 4, 5, 6 years old, and they don't know what's going on. They just wanted to have their little tea party, and these men come around and scare them, and, they go and hide. It's like, that's enough. Leave them alone.
Do you know about the age of the men that were coming by messing with the little girls?
I
If you can recall.
think one of them was like in their 40s or 50s, and I think the other one was an old man that was like just a grouchy old man, and he just wasn't really bullying. He was just grouchy, and that's the way he was in life. He treated people like that, like get off my land type of thing.
Yeah, I understand that.
So
I,
with that kind of leads into what tonight's video is about, is the protection, kind of how we present ourselves on investigations. Jody made a good point that when something, and it's one of the things I tell people, we had a client that had a kid, her son's been affected, he can see stuff, been affected for quite a long time. We went in, and this little 11-year-old kid, I think he's now like 16 almost, telling the mom to tell his little kid, when things bothering him, tell him to yell at him and leave me alone. Leave me the blank blank alone. Get the blank out of my house. Really it's about taking ownership of you're in your house, you're taking ownership of your house, not letting them bully and pick on you, because there are spirits that are bullies. I've encountered it. I think we all have encountered it. But that kind of leads into how we protect ourselves from things latching on to us or affecting us, following us home, picking up attachments, protecting our family type of thing. So that was a good lead into that, Jody.
oh, good.
That was a good lead into it. So I'm going to start with, I'm not going to go first because I don't want to. So I think I want to start with Corey on this one with the protection. He likes stones, and I'll let him tell you about it, but I heard him explain it to someone, and it really grabbed my attention as to how he explained it. But I'll let him explain what works for him on investigations protection-wise.
So Lydia has taught me all about all the different kinds of stones. Not a good majority, but some of them just don't work for me. They just don't. I don't understand why. One of my favorite stones is malachite, and my ears are gauged out a little bit, and I wear malachite gauges. I wear malachite bracelets, and I wear a bracelet around my ankle a lot of times because I work on cars for a living. And that is where it gets frustrating, because I have no idea why this stone, I just had the name. It's the white one that's your head shock. What?
Is it the white one?
Howlite, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Howlite just makes me feel better. And working on cars, if your heater doesn't work, there's a reason. There's a thing you can do to test it, to figure it out, and fix it. But stones just work. They, like this one's another one of my favorite ones, malachite. I don't know if you guys can really see it. It's
That's
green
one
and
of my
black.
favorite.
And this is one of my gauges that I wear in my ear a lot when I'm just feeling really depressed and down and just kind of upset. I hold them in my hand and I can just feel their energy, but I don't know why they work, how they work, or how to test if they work. It's just kind of a trial by error, you know. This one here is Black Obsidian, and Lydia loves it. Not my stone. I don't know. It's supposed to stop negative energies. It's supposed to get rid of things. But another thing that I really like about stones is they're from the earth. They're not man-made. They're not chemically enhanced. They just exist. You know what I mean? So the fact that they just exist naturally in the world, like yes, this one has been slightly manufactured to fit into my ear, but that's not the point. Everything is of the earth. You know, we don't really honestly deal with a lot of demons and a lot of things that people say, oh, this is a demonic thing. It's like, no, it's just a negative Nancy of a spirit. But they are of the earth. They materialize, which makes them of the earth, which is why stones, to me, mean something, and I think why they work, because I'm very in tune with energies, and I just don't know. Like, I don't know why they work. They just do, and it is awesome, but Lydia has taught me that it is because they are from the earth, just like salt. I don't know if anybody else wanted to talk about salt necessarily. Okay, so salt is of the earth, and it doesn't matter if you have a Christian demon, a Jewish demon, any sort of denomination, it is manifested from the earth. So if you get salt, they know that they can't penetrate that, they can't override it, that's it most of the time. Another thing that I really like is Palo Santo, and that comes in a spray, and it's some sort of wood from, I don't remember where, but if I'm having a bad day and I'm just being, you know, mean, like I'm not mean to my dog, but like she does something tiny and I blow up. I burn some Palo Santo and I feel better. I burn a little sage and I feel better. And same with lavender. Lavender has calmed me down a lot. I have really bad anxiety, I have really bad depression, and I have a certain pendulum that Lydia made me that is this stone right here. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's lapis azul, and I love it. This is one of my favorite stones, and I sleep with that under my pillow. I cleanse it every once in a while when I start having nightmares, but I try to keep it under my pillow because it really does seem to help me. So that's one. Go ahead.
Sorry, you could also put some sprigs of lavender under your pillow, along with the lapis, or what's the other one? I can't think of the other stone right now. Put some sprigs of lavender, or like a lavender sachet, the little pouch thing.
Yeah, I have
that
some.
one.
I have some lavender essential oil that Nicole has put in a humidifier for me to help just calm me down.
Yeah.
You'll have to, I have a bunch of lavender in my garden. I'll give you some to take home that you can dry out.
I would love that.
So Palo Santo actually comes from a tree that grows along it's from Spain. It grows along the South American coast.
And I always thought it was from Brazil, but South American, so.
Yeah, South America. It's related to other woods like frankincense, myrrh, copal, stuff like that. You know, in my house, I have rituals that I do to keep stuff out because doing this, stuff follows you home. You know, we tell people to tell it to stay there, and for the most part they listen, but I've had things, I'm not even on an investigation and I've had stuff follow me home. So I have certain things that I do in my house to keep things out. I have maintenance that I have to keep up. I have to burn stuff a couple days a week. You know, I have to keep up on my maintenance because if not, then things get in and it's not fun. Yeah, the salt, as Corey said, that's kind of my go-to is the salt. Before every investigation, I put salt in my shoes.
Yep, I do too from now on.
One of the best things I do when I'm feeling kind of down, and I mean, we have here in Utah the best place to get cleansed and ground yourself. I know it sounds horrible and it stinks, but every once in a while, like once a month, every other month, we'll go out to the Great Salt Lake, and I don't like my feet being in sand or like muddy water. I can't handle the feel of it. It's more the feel of sinking and not being able to control it. But I wear flip-flops and I go in and I walk in the water and I take my shoes off for a minute and just walk in that salty sand and water, and it helps so much. That's one of the best things that I think salt is one of the best things. Sage is also another. If you come on our investigations at the end, a lot of the time you'll see us pull out our little things and we'll be spraying ourselves and sage. And we've had people like, what are you doing? Well, you know, we're doing what works for us. But like Corey said, not everything works for every spirit. There's going to be spirits out there that don't know. And Jimmy Darling, she's one of our good friends.
She's a demonologist as well, right?
Yeah, and she has so much knowledge, and she explains this salt thing way better than I ever could. Corey kind of hit it right on. It's just something that salt, every culture, every religion, people use salt. So we always carry salt with us in a bottle of water. I mean, if you ever need it, you can just pour it in a bottle of water and, you know, flick it on somebody.
And if you ever...
my biggest thing, and the stones with Corey. I always carry stones on me.
If you ever do come out on one of our investigations and you just feel funky, like, hey, you know, something's up, just come talk to us and we'll do everything we can. We don't charge anything to do cleansings. We're literally a non-profit. The only reason that we charge anything for tickets is to cover the cost of the venue. So, I mean, we're not going to charge you to come out and cleanse your house. We'll cleanse you that same night. We'll do everything we can to make sure that you are safe because, you know, this isn't a joke. And I'm not trying to be scary and spooky and ooh, or whatever, but, you know, this is real. So, you know, if you do come out, like I said, let us know. If you're feeling funky, we'll get you right. So
let's go on to, let's get Stephanie. What are some of the things that you do when it comes to protecting yourself?
Pretty much the same thing you guys do. Like I've got this necklace that Lydia made me that I wear. I carry this little baggie of stones in my pocket all the time. I do the salt too. I just sprinkle it in my shoes, put my shoes on. And then I do have the Palo Santo and then a protection spray that I got from Crohn's Hollow. And I use these all the time. Like this one I use a lot. I spray myself down after investigations.
What is the protection spray that isn't Palo Santo, if you don't mind me asking? I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, Lydia asked if I wanted to get some. It's from Crohn's Hollow. I'm not sure exactly what's in it, though. It works really well. Someone gifted it to me, and I use it more for my space. I don't use it on me because it doesn't work on me, but it works. Like I'll spray it through the house occasionally. If you would, just anybody watching, Crohn's Hollow is a great place to go. They are one of our sponsors. They sponsor our team. We've had a good relationship with them for a few years now. They have a whole thing of just sprays that you can buy. Palo Santo, Florida Water is another one that we carry. We think we always overlook that one a little bit, but they have a lot of them that we do that they sell that help quite a bit.
We had a really bad energy in my shop actually, and I did a full cleansing on it, Florida Water on the baseboards. It helped a lot to get that all done. I saged the whole place. Palo Santo did as well. Do you know what the address is for Crohn's Hollow or how we can reach them on social media?
I can get it. If you just look for them on Facebook, it's Crohn's Hollow.
How do you spell that?
C-R-O-N as in Nancy, E, S as in Sam, and then Hollow.
When I first started to look it up, I would put a C-H.
Really? Nope, it's
Yeah.
C-R-O, let's see if I can find it. While I'm doing that, why don't we go on to Jody, and how do you protect yourself on investigation?
I'm really interested to hear what Jody has to say.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I have a Christian background and really strong faith. So when I am going on an investigation, I will pray before and ask for protection. I also found out that through a reading that I have quite a few relatives that are always there with me, that I'm always surrounded. But I also carry selenite. I carry lapis. I carry a malachite, a green malachite. I usually have at least those three in my pocket when I'm on an investigation. After an investigation, I will do a cleansing with a spray. A really, really good friend of mine has her own business and makes different things, and one of the things she makes is a cleansing spray. I cannot for the life of me remember what's in it, but it is amazing. It works very well. And I also will say, I also have this thing, if I feel like somebody is trying to follow me, and because of my Christian background, I just say, in the name of Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, I command you to stand down, back off. You are not allowed to follow me. You must remain right here. And that, I usually don't have any problem after that.
Have you ever tried hematite? It's the kind of dark silver magnetic one.
Yeah, I don't have any of that. I have a bunch of the green malachite, and I have black tourmaline too that I usually wear.
That would be pointing to Stephanie.
Yeah. It's in my bag, but I keep it in my bag. It's more of a shinier. I'll have to give you some. I have some. Next time I see you, I'll give you a piece of it. I always keep extra on hand. I keep a lot of these stones on hand.
I also have I have a bunch of different stones that I can change out on a necklace and stuff, depending on how I'm feeling it's going to go. And I have tiger's eye bracelet that I'll wear. So I'm usually pretty well protected.
That's what I like about having my gauges, having stones in them. If it's by my head, I feel like that's going to keep me more protected. I don't know if that's true, but that's just my inner feeling of I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. Well, also, you have to remember, I'm all of 5'1", and I've always had this don't mess with me badass attitude because I don't like to be messed with. And I'm not going to be.
No.
So.
She's a little ball of fire.
Don't piss me off.
So we'll move on to Nicole.
So mine's pretty much the same as what Corey does. Before investigations, I always put salt in my shoes. Spray myself with Palo Santo spray.
We try to make sure we say a prayer on our way up there.
And try and say a prayer. I have my protection bracelet that Lydia made. I wear on my ankle. And I do have some stones as well that I keep in my pocket when I go on investigations. Also, I wanted to share with Corey, he has gotten some attachments before. He takes salt baths, seem to help with that really well.
Yeah.
When I've taken salt baths, my energy's low. I just feel just drained. I'm not feeling like myself. I'll take a salt bath, and that seems to help a lot.
And recently, Nicole got me some of that pink Himalayan salt and like a pepper grinder. So that's what I've been using. You can use normal salt. That's totally fine.
Pepper, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Salt lamp. I have salt lamps. I have like 2 in my bedroom that I use too.
Yeah, I have the pink Himalayan salt lamp
Get
and a
there.
giant bag of the salt itself.
We have a lot of salt. Our cupboards are full of salt.
Did you guys hear that?
Huh.
Did she lick it?
My boss licked it. I gave her a piece of she was curious as to what it was. I'm like, well, it's Himalayan salt. It's in my lunch. I made a little one for work. I gave it to her. And my boss, she loves salt. She carries a little salt shaker in her purse, puts it on everything. And something told me that she was going to lick the salt rock because she wanted to know if it tasted like salt. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to lick it. She full on licked it to see if it tasted like salt. And
I heard it was bad for cats. And we're watching my mother-in-law's little blind kitty. And it legit doesn't have eyeballs. They're sewn shut. She's just the sweetest little thing. But Nicole had a salt lamp to help calm her down, which is totally understandable.
I can't see, but I'm like, you're in this dark room, I need to turn a light on for you.
Yeah, you still got to give them love. But I was like, Himalayan salt lamps are bad for cats. So Nicole decided to lick it.
I had to see.
And sure enough, it tastes like
It's
salt.
very salty.
Salt and cat.
And
well,
that's
now I
why
have to lick mine just to try it.
I have to see,
Well, if they're
That's why
bad
they're
for
bad.
I had no idea. We had it for so long, so.
If they're bad for cats, I wouldn't think they're good for people, so I don't...
No, the reason they're
Well,
bad for cats is because they are salt, and the cats like that salt, and they'll just
Oh.
keep licking and licking and licking, and then they'll get too much salt in their system,
Oh, okay.
and it'll shut down the kidneys.
Oh, Nicole.
Yeah.
Two lamps in my bedroom. My cat has never once tried to lick one of them. He's not
had it plugged
interested.
in, and I was paying attention to her to see what she was doing, and she was more interested on what sounds were happening and things that were going on than what smelled salty. So,
You probably couldn't smell it from the lamp that much, so it probably didn't get her attention like the sound should.
yeah. So another thing that I kind of want to mention is when you go into a place that has spirits or has energies, you want to present yourself as a nice person. All of you are pretty ladies, and so you, in my opinion, you will automatically be more than likely accepted if there is a female spirit or even a male spirit. I have been told that I can come off somewhat aggressive, so I try to come in joking and laughing and trying to have a good time and being like, hey, I'm cool like me. But no, for real, I come in and I try to make myself not seem like such a dude, I guess. I don't know. I'm the only guy on the team, except for Ryan. And So when we go to investigations and go to places, I try to come in like, hey, you can talk to me, you know, like, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to bother you. I'm not here to pick on you. Because if any of the spirits have seen a certain paranormal show, they know that a lot of times they go in and they're very confrontational. They're like, I demand you show yourself. And it's like, I don't demand anything. I'm in your realm and your house. If someone came in my house and was like, I demand you to bang on the wall, guess what? I'm not banging on the wall. Because you demanded me to, and this is my house. So you got to kind of represent yourself as loving and caring, and that you genuinely want to know their story, which is the whole point behind paranormal investigations. That's why I don't consider myself a ghost hunter. Because if I was just hunting ghosts, I would just go out and be like, ooh, that was scary, and then be on my way. I want to know who it is, why they're there, why they're at that location, what their backstory was. I am legitimately, in my opinion, like a detective, you know, like an investigator, which is what we proclaim ourselves to be. We're not ghost hunters, you know what I mean? We are paranormal investigators. We go in expecting nothing. And if we get something, perfect. If we get nothing, you win some, you lose some. But I can't think of one time that we haven't gotten
Something.
Yeah. So you gotta set yourself up like you're meeting a new person, because that is exactly what you're doing. They were human beings at one point in time. They want to be treated with respect. They want to say, can you please turn this light on? It's dark. I'm scared. Maybe don't say I'm scared, but like, can you please turn this light on? Can you please open this door? Can you please whatever?
Be polite.
Yeah, and then when it happens, say, thank you so much. Don't go, wah! You know what I mean? Just treat it as though you were at your friend's house and their mom came downstairs and you were like, hey, you know, would you mind turning that stove light on? And then when they do, be like, thank you. Don't overreact. Don't act a fool. Don't flip out because they did exactly what you asked them to do. Just literally investigate. If you hear a noise off in the distance, go see what that noise is. Maybe the AC turned on. Maybe the heater turned on. Maybe, you don't know until you investigate. So that's kind of one thing I wanted to say tonight was, represent yourself. What's that?
Be respectful.
Yeah, represent yourself as a decent human being.
Trying to think too, a lot of the times, if you go in guns blazing, confrontational, you're going to get what you put out.
Exactly.
So, with the provoking, I have a good example. When I first started the team, we had we had a couple people that liked to provoke, and we were at a location that had children there. I've been there before. We communicated with the children. We had interaction. But one person there was provoking a lot and being aggressive, and we got no activity that night at all.
Because what child wants to?
Nothing. Not even from the other spirits. We got absolutely nothing that night because I finally had to pull him aside and say, hey, dude, after that I'm like, you can't go in and you can't provoke. There's, occasionally there's times where you'll hear me get frustrated because I know something's there and it's not talking to me. Even when I'm kind of trying to get an answer out of him, I'm still being nice about it.
And I think that goes for everyone here. You get frustrated.
And not every location is going to, they're not going to, I've been on investigations where we've not gotten anything. I've been on investigations where people say, yeah, I'm hearing knocking in my attic, or the light flickers on and off. Okay, well, have you had an electrician come out and look at the light to make sure it's not an electrical malfunction? Have you actually gone up in the attic and, a lot of times you'll find it's a pipe. There's an animal living up there, There's logical things. Not everything's paranormal. And I think that's what a lot of people going through, everything's paranormal, like Clay said, you hear something knocking down the hallway, a lot of the times on investigations, I'll wander off because I hear something. I was like, did you hear that? And I'll wander off to go see what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say, oh, did you hear that? Annoying that. That's scared. It's not always paranormal. It's not.
It's not always unexplained. It's not always...
Yeah.
And another thing that I would like to point out is it's not always bad.
Mm-mm.
It's scary because you don't understand it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that someone is trying to communicate with you, and you don't fully understand that they don't have the ability to be like, what's up, man? How you doing? You know, so they're like, and you're like, what the hell was that? And so you get freaked out, and you're like, okay, that's a demon. It's like, it's not a demon, it's your brother, it's your homie, or it's your best friend, or whatever. They don't know how else to communicate, but if they happen to have enough energy to make a noise, that's probably what they're going to do, because if I passed, and I wanted Nicole to know I was here, I would tap on, well, okay, I would go to Lydia's house and tap on the wall, because she'd be like, Corey, knock it off. So, you know, it's not always bad, and that's the thing that a lot of these shows are saying, is you need an exorcism. You need all this stuff, and it's like, a lot of times you just need to understand who's talking to you, who's trying to communicate with you. And from what I've seen and experienced myself, 90% of the time, it's not a bad thing. It's just someone that's like, oh my, you can hear me. Because just imagine staring at a group of people being like, hey, I'm over here. And everyone's like, oh, you know, just kind of blowing you off. And then someone's like, did you hear that? And they're like, oh, they can hear me. You know, what else can I do to let them know that I'm here? What else can I do to, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the majority of the spirits that we deal with aren't negative. They just, that's the only way they know how to communicate. So that's something to think about also when you're starting with paranormal investigations, is 90% of the time it's not demonic or mean or bad, as long as you go in respectful.
You know, I've been quite a while, and in the time I've been doing it, I haven't come across anything demonic yet. The one thing that I had an encounter with was when I was younger, and it was conjured up by people doing stuff they shouldn't be doing.
That's the only time I've ever done it.
I've had I've had two it's been two times where, and this is why, this is what made me really learn how to protect myself, is, you know, another thing I'm going to throw there too, is when you're going on an investigation, no alcohol, no drugs, be alert, you know. The one time something really latched on to me, and this thing affected me for over a month, is by finding that someone that was able to remove it and he helped me to protect myself, and I still talk to him a lot. It just, you need to be awake, not tired. You know, a lot of the times you'll see us with our energy drinks and our coffee. You know, technically that could distract us too. But we want people to be alert and be aware of this surroundings, not only just aware about spirits, but, you know, a lot of the times we're walking around in the dark. I mean, I've rolled my ankle on an investigation. I've gotten hurt because I'm not paying attention and I'm tired. I'm just not. Be aware of your surroundings. A lot of the time when we get there, we'll do a walkthrough. You know. So it's not just about the spirits. It's about knowing the surroundings. We carry footsteps spirits with us. You know.
I went to one location and it had a moving floor. I myself, sober, am not necessarily the most graceful individuals. So if I would have been drinking that night, I don't even know what would have happened. So, yeah, and even if you think, hey, you know, the investigation's not till 9:30 or 10, I can have a couple beers. No. That's opening yourself up. I personally have been affected by that, and that is my own stupidity. You know, I did all the protection stuff I thought I could do, but it was because my guard was down. And I got an attachment. So if you want to think this is a joke, again, it's not. Like, I don't know how many investigations I've been on, and I was like, I can have a couple beers, I'll be fine. And no. Just don't. It's not like that. No. It's not like what you have to go through. You know, we've had people come out on our events and drunk, and it sucks when we have someone guests on our event, and we have to ask them the things that we have, waivers that we sign. You know, when guests come out and sign waivers, that's one of the things. They're not going to be drunk, they're not going to be under the influence of stuff, because if we notice that, and I have asked people to leave before on investigations, it's just that there's everybody. Again, it goes back to not just the spirits, but the smoking when some of them are not exactly quote-unquote safe. Yeah, there's no floor mission, there's a floorboard, you know, we're walking out in the forest or a cemetery or something like that. You really need to be on your game and aware of your surroundings. That's one of my biggest things, is protecting myself from the elements, the stuff you're going to be in. I am ashamed of myself for thinking I could have a couple beers and go on an investigation. And the thing is no matter how good you are at cleansing, sometimes they just laugh. And sometimes they make you think things that you would never think. And feel things that you think you would never feel. And I would just like to leave that at that. So, you know, you got to be responsible. I can accept that too. Mine wasn't the business. Mine was just, you know, we've been at the Halloween Expo all day. We had an event the night before. We got on flight 2 or 3, was back at the Expo at 8 in the morning. You know, went straight from the Expo to another investigation. I was running off of like 2 or 3 hours of sleep, run down, and something got me literally the minute we got in the building. And everybody noticed, even my work, people at work noticed something in my attitude. I was wanting to, like, hurt people that I love. You know, when you see a friend standing, like, oh, I just want to run her over with my car. It doesn't make any sense. I had that same thing, and it's really hard to explain to your manager that, hey, I have an attachment, a spiritual attachment that's negative. It's called a parasitic attachment, and it's feeding on your energy, both positive and negative. So in positive energy, drains it. Negative energy, it slowly drains it. And before I knew how to protect myself, I would get attachments on every investigation. And I would have to explain that to my manager. And luckily, my manager was like, I understand. And I have never met another individual that has been like, oh, you're haunted. Okay, that's fine. You can be 2 hours late for work. But they were, spirits were getting in my mind and making me think things. They were just making me think bad things. My supervisor is Sam Hug. I've worked with her for quite a while now. She's the one that makes my conscience day. She's a Reiki master, and I had an attachment, but it wasn't a bad attachment. It wasn't bothering me. It wasn't doing anything. And she's like, oh, let's do some Reiki on you. And she started
this sound bowl, and as it got louder and louder, I could see the guy that had attached himself, and he's yelling, "Tell her to stop that! Tell her to stop!" And I'm like, "Nope, sorry, she's not stopping." But I never had like a bad attachment. This is just someone who just is like this person just wanting to see the world with me or something, and it's nice. So if if I say, "Hey, I'm going to start working later today," it's like, "Hey, no problem."
So for people that don't know what I'm sorry, did you say resonance bowl? Wisdom bowl, yes.
A sound bowl.
That's the copper bowl. If you could just explain that a little bit.
They're not
a
just
little more
copper.
familiar.
Yeah, they're not just copper. They're different materials. Like she has they almost look like some kind of white stone, the ones she has, and they come in different sizes. You can have small ones, and it has just like I don't know what you would call it,
It's like one of those things
like a mallet. Yeah, it's kind of like a mortar and pestle type thing. And you do it around the inside rim of the bowl, and the different size bowls make different tones, and like if you go faster, it gets a little higher, and things like that. And they're using a lot in the group because the higher pitches will scare a spirit away. So like this is another thing that spirit told me: if a child is being bothered by the spirit, and they can't speak up for themselves, give them something like little symbols or some bells that they can ring, anything that's high pitch that they can do to drive that spirit away and make them feel more comfortable.
I had no idea.
Yeah. The bell and I'll send you the the bell. I could get a sound bowl. That would be really good too. So what about you, Steph? What are some of, I think we all kind of have the same views on how we represent ourselves on investigation. Yeah. Like I just go in like you guys and I'm respectful. I don't like demand them to show themselves or make things happen. I just kind of ask like, "Hey, I want to know if you're here. Can you do this for me, please?" And just see, if they can. Sometimes they can't. They can't get that energy to make things happen. And also the code shoes. No flip-flops and sandals. Yeah. No. This one's for the noise factor, but you don't want to walk around in the this one's for the this one's when you kind of listen to easy things. So I do come off as a kind of in your face style. Like, if I want to talk to you, I'm going to single you out at a party. And I'm going to discuss. What do you do for a job? What kind of car do you have? What size you suit? Random stuff. I know. But I do think that having that characteristic has been helpful with the success of my investigation. Because, I come in, I tell them what I'm into. I work on cars, I do this, I like video games, I do this. What are you into? And a lot of times, they are willing to tell me what they were into. And, it just kind of seems to help if you come in respectful, but kind of like you not own the place, but own the situation. It's kind of like I'm the weird dude at the party that's going to talk to everyone, and then at the end of the day, some people might like him. That's kind of how I feel that I go into investigations. So that really cool. My gun investigations, I don't know, such a sweetheart that it's hard for her to, in my opinion, because she works at like an assisted living home and she has to deal with
people passing a lot and stuff like that. So her heart is in the right place. And I think that a lot of times the spirit wants to talk to her because she is open to that, which is 180 degrees different from how I come into an investigation. But she gets good evidence. She gets good EP. She gets good, K2 spikes. She gets really good EMF, which is K2. And she does a really good job. But I think that the way she comes into it is so different than the way I come into it that they are willing to speak to both of us. So that's my 2 cents. I didn't mean to be over Nicole. That wasn't my intention. That's just my comment. I've had the pleasure of listening to all your guys' audio. And you all do awesome, and it's kind of cool listening to you doing, we all investigate too, but you all have your own ways about how you do it. Some questions only different. And she's having to learn, and Corey's kind of more of a funny, and in my case, I consider a funny little brother. A funny brother. She's very respectful, and it's kind of cool to hear how everybody interacts, and that's why lately we don't do a lot of public events anymore. So towards the end of the season before all this COVID stuff broke out, we started doing a lot of these locations we've all been to multiple times. We know what areas we like, so we have our guests to be able to investigate with all of us. And a lot of times stuff with Vivian and Corey all the time. I like to see on the phone, Stephanie do it. Yeah, the new Stephanie is in it, so we could station in now, yeah. I need us to get to us. That way everybody can see it on the on team. So you guys all have your own techniques and your way of communicating with stuff. And that's why I like you guys. You don't come in, someone can hit them as well. Guns blazing, just coming at me, I'm gonna rock that thing down. Yeah, you're gonna get back on it. Exactly. It's gonna happen, I'm gonna be respectful, I'm gonna be doing this stuff, and I'm gonna do it on the So really it's all about how you carry yourself. You're going, wanting, being very disrespectful, very in your face. I think that's what the sports are gonna put up. And if I see them like I'm talking to a normal person. Like I've been having a conversation with Corey. Hey Corey, what, if I didn't know, hey, what's your name? I'm gonna start banging on the walls and turn on the disposal. Yeah. But in my opinion, it's unnecessary to come in and demand things. And demand hit a wall. Because who hits a wall? Like, who comes in and is like, hey guys, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, nobody does that. They just walk upstairs like, what's up, bro? Like, no one bangs on walls for unnecessary reasons. So for them to bang on a wall, first of all, in my opinion, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but it takes energy to process that. And be like, you want me to hit a wall? And then they have to be like, okay, now I need the energy to hit the wall for some reason. Then you can just ask me what my name is. And to me, that is very strange and very unnecessary. Just talk to them. They're with people. Just say, hey. My name's Corey. I have a bird named Sunny. Sunny. That's my bird's name. We just got it the other day. And just tell them dumb things about yourself. And then they'll just start telling you dumb things about themselves. But that's positive. If you're like, what did you like to do? And they say, dreaming. No, I doubt that. But if they say painting, You know, there's just so many better ways to do this.
But I think that's something, you know, a lot of people go in and automatically, one thing I've noticed a lot, and I hope I've explained it good enough, you know, I can use that in my lives. People automatically like, are you, what's the word? Is it demonic entity? Are you evil? Are you know, I don't ask those questions unless something is telling me that it's bad. I just don't automatically assume that in that like place that not everything's evil, not everything's bad. You know, if you ever have a chance to talk to Jimmy, he's one of the best ones that can talk about this stuff. You know, maybe we can get her to do a live interview with us for a fun, and she can explain it to you. She's amazing what she knows. But that's one question I don't go unless there's something that's concrete that I know it's a bad thing.
And another thing, if I could add on to that, is if you invite it, then it will be. You know, like, lately I've been having a real negative thought about myself, and I haven't been able to be me. And then I'm like, you know what? It's changing. So, if you ask, are you good or are you bad? Anything good? Yeah. Okay. So, if you ask, like, are you good or are you evil, you're giving evil the opportunity to be like, what's up? What are you going to do? And you're like, so why even ask that question? Because it's unnecessary, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, you ask me to be good or evil. Let me think about that.
I'm a friend.
No, the cold is just like,
No, y'all haven't lived with the Cole for 11 months. So, she's a counselor and
no.
something else. But, I mean, if you ask it, are you good or evil, you're it's the same thing as a Ouija board. I mean, we'll probably talk about Ouija boards later. I don't think they're bad, but you're giving God an opportunity to overcome and overtake. So why even give that opportunity, why even give that option to ask if you're good or bad? You don't want to talk to bad, you want to talk to good. I mean, like you said, unless there's bad things there, then be like, hey, y'all need to knock it off. But other than that, on a normal investigation, you don't want to start it with, are you good or evil? Because, unfortunately, bad, I'm not going to say it, but things take the path of least resistance. So, bad could very well welcome itself into your life. So if you give it an option, if God is strong enough, it's going to take the path of least resistance. So,
Yeah. So, we did have, we did that question. Concolor Villa on 3834 South Main Street. And you can find them on Facebook.
I'm not from Salt Lake City, correct?
Salt Lake City. Let me see if I still have the question. Hope I did. Oh, I don't. Okay, so for now, we want to ask the question on the next one. So far, I saved it, but I did not save it on my phone. Nothing. Yeah, that's one.
These things happen.
So I will get it from that, and we'll get to watch the question on the next one we do. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Thank you so much for
watching my videos. Hopefully we're not. Something not too boring for you. You can learn something from it. I personally enjoy talking about them. The weird thing is I have really bad social anxiety, so I can't talk about things that I'm not passionate about. The paranormal, protecting yourself, white energy, white light, no negative energy allowed. I love that. So that, what I just said is what we say when we do attending. All negativity must leave. Only positivity, white light, and white energy must stay. That's just what we say when we do attending, so that way all negativity will leave. So the first one was kind of difficult for me because I know people are watching and I feel embarrassed, but I'm passionate about this. This is something that affects my daily life, and that I hope I can help you in some way. So, I'd like to say this is something good. You didn't know any of us like 10 years ago. No, not at all. Joined M&I investigations when you were done that 2 years ago, and that's something that changed my life. They're good. Well, I love you guys. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Colin Paulo, for the support. Yeah. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And we will have much more time in the schedule. We will have one of our videos coming up for the next week or so. Just sending all down a time when we can get with them, get on here and ask some questions. So they can go to ClonePaulo.com or follow Clone Paulo on Facebook. What? Okay. Yeah, we love them. One of our good sponsors. I got most of all of my stuff from them. Not that I don't dislike it, I'm not a physical store. Clone Paulo is one that has stood with me. It was a reason place, but it's still walked in there. It's just such good energy. It's always been good. They have so much cooking. Yeah, the staff there. They're pretty much awesome, I would say. So, follow us on Facebook, look up M&L Paranormal on YouTube, like our pages, share them, we would do it. I think we got second on board. Subscribe us to our YouTube account, Newscorner, and so you click on Newscorner and stuff and you'll get some kind of M&L logo tattooed on it. So, please, let us know. So, just want to let you guys know that we love you guys and thank you for following us and subscribing. Follow us on Facebook. I mean, that helps us a ton. So, thank you. Yes, thank you. No, that's right. And I feel like I said on the last video that if it wasn't for M&L, none of us would be here right now. So, and it all started on us following us on Facebook. I think my cat likes you a lot. She just jumped out on the bed and she's been staring at me. Aww. Dude, animal button. Like, I had a bird that we got from my mother-in-law. It's a glance of a bird. But lately, it's been lonely. Like, it's been sitting on my chest and, like, cuddling with my boobs and stuff. I'm like, it's cool. I don't know that. It's cool, I don't know. I don't know how to tell. I know how to figure it out, but you don't want to know. I appreciate it because I know how to do it. I'll Google it on Nicole Stone because she's a Thank you guys again. I think that, I need to make sure to stop. Yeah, keep following us. We're going to keep putting updates up. We're going to keep posting stuff. We're going to keep going live on Facebook. As soon as we can, we're going to start going live on YouTube. It's going to be cool. I promise. If you guys want to know and if there's something interesting, you can just cover a topic, let us know, and we'll see what we can do. Absolutely. It's fun to keep ourselves and fun to use during this time. You know, some of us aren't comfortable doing the public events, which is understandable. So it's trying to find a way where we can still communicate with you guys and have fun. We do have some ideas coming up of what we can do to you guys in some of our destinations. Absolutely. We'll announce that later. Actually, I'm talking to you about that one. So, yeah. Doesn't matter what it is. You're doing it. I have something I want to talk to you guys about too. Well, we will see you guys next week. Absolutely. Yep. Looking forward to it, guys. Bye, guys. Love you all. Bye. Bye.